It's Richard Mills from Upschool here. For more amazing free lessons like this one, create a free account at upschool.co, and we can't wait to see you on our platform.
Everyone can see my screen, which is wonderful. Great. So just to let you know, guys, at the moment we've got a course running right now, and many of you are actually taking that course on, which is Write a Book to Change the World. And we've got about 1,000 teachers in 110 countries around the world right now who are running that course. And what they're doing is they're actually presenting that course to their class. So the teacher is beaming in the course into the front of the room on a large screen, and the children are taking part in this. And each 10-week block, we want to release a new course for you to be able to take you on a journey as a community and really empower your students to make a difference in the world. I think a really important aspect of all the courses that we roll out here at Upschool is that we have a very big point of difference, and that is that the children will be learning specific skills, facts, and information along the way, but there's always a call to action where they get to do something or they get to activate a skill which actually makes the world a better place, a little bit. Whether it's cleaning up a local pond or smiling at their teacher, whatever it is, doesn't matter how small or how big, there will be a call to action which will make the world slightly better in each of the courses that we roll out, which is extremely important. So Kamal, with your 2,000 students that are coming along in term 3, you get a chance to take that whole community on a huge journey, and your whole community is involved. So even though it's aimed at your students, the idea is that your students go home and activate the community to think differently in the way they live, think differently in the way they act, to make the world a better place, if that makes sense. So what I'll do, I'll just show you what's going to be happening in term 3. So starting on July the 19th. And at that point, we've got India back to school. We've got the UAE back to school as well. And Australia are starting. So we'll have lots and lots of schools around the world taking that on. So what I'll do, I'll just flick you over to the course content, which is here. And the course is called Be the Change. I'll just introduce you very quickly to the team. And there's quite a few of the team members here right now. We're Upschool. And we're running education online for free for children all over the world who can't get to school, but also those who can get to school, and the teachers who want to teach something a little bit differently that gives a bit more agency to the way that education is delivered. We've got Jake here and Ashesh and a few other members, and Richard, all the team are here right now. And maybe we can have a bit of a chat towards the end of the conference, at the end of the workshop with those guys. But each and every learning sequence, each and every course that we roll out will always have a point of difference, and that point of difference will be that there'll be change made in the world to make it slightly better through the course. So let me just go through our presentation here. Main objectives of what's going to be happening from July the 19th onwards is that your children will be feeling a connection to the wider world, a connection to their local community. They will be able to create change. We'll focus on empowerment, essential skills such as independence, agency, time management, communication, confidence, all those wonderful key factors. And at the very end of this, the children will get to actually speak out, and I'll tell you more about that towards the end of this presentation. So, thing to say very quickly, Kamal and everybody else attending, is that this is free. It's always going to be free. There's never going to be a button that says now you have to pay. Okay, it's going to be something that we'll deliver all the time, continuously, for free for you, for your community, and for any parents who are homeschooling. I know we've got Michaela here who's homeschooling her children, and she's doing a very good job at broadcasting our wonderful work, which is fantastic, and I thank you very much for that. Okay, so let's go through what will happen over the course of this 10-week course in term 3. We are strongly aligned and working in cahoots with the United Nations and their sustainability goals for the world. As you know, there are 17 of those. The students in this course, your children, get to choose an SDG that matters to them. There are 17. There's educational equality, climate change, life on land, life on water, poverty, all these wonderful initiatives set out by the United Nations. We put them out to the world and say to the children all around the world, which one of these matters to you? So if you're in Bangladesh and you're a 10-year-old living on the Delta, what's going to matter to you is the fact that sea levels are rising and you will not have a country to live on in 20 years' time. So you'll probably pick climate change. If you're living in Uganda, and you know that there's a good chance if you're a girl, you'll be married at 13 to a 70-year-old man, then gender equality will matter to you. So the children will choose one that matters to them, and they'll take that on throughout the entire journey. And I think that's a key component. It's very important that we give them the agency and the choice, because children have different aspects of life, different demographics, depending on where they live. Something is different, matters differently, depending on where you live and your background, your demographic, and your socioeconomic status. So over the 10 weeks, what will happen is this. The first of the children will find out where they fit. Who am I? Where do I belong? How do I fit into this world? And they'll reflect upon their place on the planet, which is something we don't do very often in school, being a teacher for 25 years. They'll continue that into week 2. And then as they go into week 3, they'll start to think about that SDG and what matters to them. So in week 3, it will be what matters to me, what's important to me. And each and every week, there's a call to action. And if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see real world learning. In this week, week number 3, we kick off, but the children are going to write a letter. Now, everybody here has been to your school before in their life at some point, I'm guessing, and we all learn how to write a letter. And I've said this a trillion times before, and I'll say it again to you now. Majority of students on the planet will write a letter to their school principal, to ask the school principal to ban uniforms, put chocolate in the canteen, or to extend playtime or recess. Those things never happen. The principal never reads the letter. The children get a tick and a gold star in their book, but they don't see any action. They don't see any action. Nothing happens. They wrote this amazing letter to the principal saying, hey, I want longer recess. But the principal didn't even read it because he's too busy. And it was never the intention. What we do here at Upschool is the children choose an SDG. They go, you know what? Climate change matters to me. And then they write to somebody who can actually change that. So they research the environmental minister of their local country. They write a letter to him or to her, and they post it. And potentially he writes back, or he turns up at the school, and they go, oh my God, I didn't realize how powerful I actually am. If I write a letter to somebody, they will do something. And so they realize how empowered they can suddenly be and how much power they've got as a child, as a human being. And this runs like a river through every course that we do. So week 3, we start to think about the SDG that matters to us. Then we start to set our goals. And the children in their groups, they set tangible goals. And the goals are not for them personally. The goals are goals that they are going to try to initiate in their community. So for example, if they say they're taking on climate change, and one of their goals is we are going to eat less meat and more vegetables, because we know that meat causes pollution and takes up vital land and all these other wonderful things that meat does, but vegetables, they don't. They actually protect the environment. Then the idea is that they actually reach out to the community, to their parents, their grandparents, their teachers, and say, hey, every Thursday, we're going to have a no meat day at school. And they're going to make a poster, we're going to stick it in front of the school, and Thursday's no meat day. And therefore, you see that change is happening. And maybe it's 2 days a week, or maybe they write to a local business, or whatever it's going to be. They take action within their community, and they initiate it. So we empower them to be the change makers. They set those targets, they set those goals. Week 5, they find their voice. So you can see on the right-hand side, this time we're going to ask them to make a phone call. They're actually going to make a phone call. Now, many people think, oh my goodness, children making a phone call? Can they? Of course they can. Children can, under the right circumstances, make a phone call. So imagine a group of children going, we're going to make one phone call. And who we're going to make that phone call to? And they plan it all out. They approach the principal and say, Mr. Johnson, we need to call this person. It's the local minister. It's a local business. It's an influencer. It's an environmental activist. It's somebody. Can we call them? And they call. They dial the digits. They talk on the telephone. And they actually see change happening. They go through that process. Quite often we shy away from that. But when we actually encourage it, we see that our children develop skills that we didn't even know existed in the first place. Then we go to week 6, and our children get to speak out. They get to write a message to the world. We're collating a book that's going to be published next year. Your children get to have a voice at this point, and they start to think about key messages and values. And this is where they think about branding, and they brand up what it is. What is their key message as a group, these children? They study people like Greta Thunberg, Gandhi, Malala, a lot of other influencers, Martin Luther King Jr., and all these people, and they find out what was their core message and how did they get it out to the world, and they write their core message. And then we get to week 7, and they turn that voice and that message into a product. They then design a t-shirt, their very own t-shirt with bring a product, and that product sits on our platform for sale. The product sits on the platform for sale, and people all around the world can then buy that product. Whether you're in Minnesota or Mascot, you buy that t-shirt. And when you buy it, when you buy the t-shirt, some of the profit from that t-shirt goes to a charity designated by the child. The child says, I made a t-shirt, and when anyone around the world buys this t-shirt, I want part of the profit to go to rainforest rescue over there because I care about rainforests. Or I want it to go to So They Can over there because I care about women empowerment. And the child gets to see that. And then maybe they sell 100 copies of their t-shirt because the design was so good. They get the feedback thing. Did you know, Tommy, 100 copies of your t-shirt have been sold and 12 girls are now going to school in Uganda. Or we've just planted 6,000 trees thanks to your hard work. And the child, once again, like the letter that goes to the local minister, goes, oh my goodness, are you telling me that I can work hard, I can work alongside the curriculum, I can make something, and then change the lives of other people around the world, and they feel empowered. It changes the whole aspect of what education is and what empowerment looks like. Then we go to week 9, and what happens is the children bring in the community together, and they talk to the community about what their feedback is. What happened in your house? We told you you're going to eat less vegetables. Did you do it? How did it feel? We asked you to walk to school on a Friday instead of driving the car. You did it. How does it feel? And they get the community together and they regroup and they, more importantly, reflect. And then they put all of this, package it up in a presentation, just like the presentation I'm giving you right now. And what happens is we then invite them to present at actually a conference. We're going to be having a conference at the end of the year. It's going to be happening on November, I can't remember the exact date on top of my head, yes, November 20th. And we're going to invite students all around the world to come and present what happened in their community. And we're going to be calling it the Children's Day Upschool Conference. And children will come along from all around the world, and other children will watch other communities' journey and say, goodness me, I can't believe they got their whole community to walk to school 5 days a week for 10 weeks in a row. That's amazing. We're now going to do that. So we reflect, we share, we learn, we guide, and we empower the students along the way. And this will be happening over a 10-week period. However, the idea is that this will roll on. Our students will say, well, you know, we're always going to have a no meat Thursday from now on, because we know that it actually changes the world and helps other people. But also what they will understand and what they realize is that education doesn't have to be about putting it in a book and getting a tick and some stars, because we know that's pointless. There's actually no point in doing that. The idea is to say to children, well, we want to empower you to understand that when you do some work, when you do some, we'll call it work, when you do some work, there's got to be a positive effect on somebody else's life for the hard work that you have just done. So that's the kind of the change in understanding of how I want to change the demographic of what education looks like. And that's the whole course starting on the 19th of July. Completely free. You bring your entire school along, your entire community. But the concept behind it is that it won't be just for the children. The children will be going home and talking to their parents. The children will be writing to politicians, to influential people, to businesses, to community leaders, and saying, hey, by the way, guys, did you know that actually we can live differently? We can actually help the planet if we think of it differently. And the idea is to empower the students to initiate that change rather than it coming from adults talking down to children. We're going to try and flip it on its head and get children to start speaking up to adults to say, hey, I'm not sure that you're taking care of my future. This is my future, not yours, and you're actually destroying it. You better sort out how you're living, because I'm not standing for it anymore. And you better read this letter, because we just sent 1,000 letters from my school to your office. So you better come in and have a chat with us and tell us what you're going to do about the Delta in Bangladesh, because it's really polluted, or whatever it's going to be. And that in itself will be extremely, I will find it a really nice moment, personally speaking, but also extremely empowering for the students. And I know that, you know, I can see that Marquita's sitting there going, yes, I want that for my child. Please give me that. Because there's lots of parents who want exactly that for their children. Okay, so that starts on July the 19th. I would say to Kamal, your whole school is coming along to that, which is unreal. And I know that Marquita, you're doing the Write a Book course, and you're a homeschooling parent at the moment. So if you wouldn't mind doing me a huge favor, sharing this with your communities, would be unreal. I'll email everybody after this conversation with some more details and a bit of a synopsis and a page and the slideshow so you can share it. Because the idea is the more people that come on this journey with us, then the bigger the change will be. And that's what we want. You know, you're holding a baby and it's your baby's future. So we want the children to determine what that future looks like, not the money-hungry, power-greedy politicians who say, yeah, pollute the lot, who cares? Doesn't really matter. We're going to be dead in 50 years. It does matter. It matters to the children sitting in our classrooms. Before I go to the next part, are there any questions around that? Kamal, Marquita, did you have anything? Donia, anything you want to ask, I guess, about that before we go to the next bit?
Oh, thank you. I'm just happy to listen to all these beautiful things.
That's very nice. What about Kamal? Kamal, you've got two screens. You need to turn one off, maybe. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Kamal, any questions? Because you've got 2,000 kids coming.
Okay, perhaps her voice is, her volume's down. Is there anyone else there that has any questions at all of us? It's wonderful to see so many people joining and being interested in our programs, and we really do hope that they can, you know, produce the sort of future that we all want for our children.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Maybe Kamal, you can work on your. I think you're muted, Kamal. You just need to unmute yourself if you have any questions. No, you're okay now.
Yep, I'm all good to go. It's Gavin. Thank you for organizing this wonderful workshop, and we are all keen, and all of us are looking forward at APJ. Maybe there'll be more than 2,000. The number may increase. Of course, it has to increase because they know it's going to be a rare, fruitful interaction, and we are very clear and we are good to go. So I would request you may please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so before we go to the final part, what I'll just do now is just share with you some exciting news that we've got coming up. Richard, who's here wearing the black jersey, you see him, he's waving, yes. Richard and I are embarking on an extremely, exciting journey coming up. There is a very famous quote that I like to live by, which is, if you can't take the child to the world, very famous, I forget, if you can't take the child to the world, you bring the world to the child. And so there are many children around the world who don't get to see the things that are so magnificent around the world. We wanted to bring that to their fingertips. So we've approached an organization called Aurora, and they run cruises to some of the most remote locations on the planet. And I'll just list them for you so you can hear how amazing they are. Papua New Guinea, Costa Rica, the Bermuda Triangle, Madagascar, Antarctica, the Arctic Circle, XYZ. We've managed to talk to them. They've been very kind to us. And on the 24th of this month, we are going to the Arctic. We're going to Svalbard, which is the most northern city in the world. In fact, there are 2,500 people live in Svalbard. There are 2,700 polar bears live in Svalbard. That's how exciting it is, Kamal. Yes, and we are flying there. It's going to take us 5 days to get there and 5 days to get home. We're going on the ship, but even better, we're getting off the ship. And we've planned out a 10-week learning sequence for schools all over the world on the Arctic. And it's based on climate change, ultimately. It's again going to be, the base of it is going to be around exposing the children to the amazing aspects that the Arctic has to offer. Polar bears, the Arctic tern, glaciers, you name it, the Arctic is an amazing place. In fact, just to share with you, while me and Richard are there, the sun will not set at all. It will be daytime all day, all night, right? So the idea is this. There are lots of children around the world who we try to teach them. By the way, guys, did you know what a polar bear looks like? Did you know the sun doesn't set? How about if the lesson was delivered from the location? So you're there, guys, today we're learning about polar bears, and over your shoulder, there is a polar bear. Not too close, obviously, because that's dangerous, but close enough. So it's over your shoulder. You say, we're going to learn about polar bears today, guys. And, oh, my goodness, there's a polar bear here. Look at this. You know, the children are like, oh, my God, I can't believe there's an actual polar bear. It's like when you're a teacher, if anyone knows this out there, when you're a teacher, children think that you live in the cupboard. They don't know you're a real human. And they think you live in the cupboard. And then you go to the supermarket and you see a child in the supermarket. And a child, oh, my God, oh, my God. My teacher goes shopping. I cannot believe he goes shopping. And then they hide behind their mum, and you're like, hello, Tommy. And they say, oh, my God. And then because they don't realize that you're actually human and it's real. So this is going to take it to the next level. We're going to say, by the way, guys, we know that you've seen David Attenborough and you've seen polar bears and glaciers and all these wonderful things. Well, we're going to be teaching live from the location. So we're going to be going there, and we're very thankful to Aurora because they're taking us for free. They also believe in this exact concept that there are children in very remote locations who will never get to see a polar bear. This is the closest thing we'll get to do it. So I'll just very quickly, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'll share with you what it's going to look like, again, in a slideshow very quickly. So the call to action will be climate change, of course. So students will get to learn about the Arctic over a 10-week period. But what we want to do is try to bring what's happening in the Arctic to the fingertips and the footsteps and the doorsteps of your children. So we don't want to make it, it's not going to be doom and gloom. It's not going to be, oh, the ice is melting and polar bears are becoming extinct, because that's not inspiring whatsoever. We're going to inspire students to think, okay, I know that the ice is melting and I know that polar bears are losing their habitat. I feel helpless because I'm very far away. Is there anything I can do to change it? And there is. I mean, the reality is, if we all turn our lights off for an hour a day, everybody in the world, when we're doing our bit, you're actually saving the ice just by doing that. This is the reality. And we want to empower children to do just that. But this one's going to be focused on climate change especially. Okay, so once again, hello from Upschool. By the way, check that picture out. That is a group of humpback whales asleep. I bet you didn't know they sleep upright like that for 2 hours, and they sleep in pods just like that for protection, and they snore. Now you tell that to a 7-year-old and they're like, what? That is unbelievable. And that's what we want. That's what we're trying to bring to you. I can see Marquita's like, get over here and look at this. Did you know that whales, they sleep like this? That's what we want to do. So yeah, just to let you know, Marquita's son, I know he's writing a book as well. Yes, that's how they sleep. And we want to bring the wonders of the Arctic to the doorsteps of your children. Forget that quote, I just wrote that the other day. So now the main objectives of this whole course will be, we look at the history of the Arctic from a geological point of view, which is very standard anyway, happens in lots of schools. But then we'll go into the history of the Sami people, which are the indigenous people of the Arctic. We'll learn about how they lived and how they currently live, because they lived in harmony with the environment. They believed that everything had a soul, every tree, every plant, every animal. If they killed it, it had to be killed to survive. It wasn't just for fun. Same with trees, same with plants. They'd have a ceremony. They were very, very careful about how they harvested the environment to sustain their life. And what do we do today? We just chop everything down, we burn it to the ground. When we go fishing, we just get everything, and what we don't want, we don't care about. But that's not the way it should be. We want to bring that to your children to say, hey guys, have a look into your own history. How do your indigenous people live today, and how did they live, and what can we learn? What can we learn from them? So it's about paying it forward. Then we'll go into the balance of nature and how finely balanced it is and what we can do about that. And then we'll look to the future, and children will make a plan as to what they're going to do in terms of how they live their life to sustain the future. So the course overview will simply be about that. I'll skip that one. But once again, they will have a set of goals. These are sets of goals from straight out of the SDGs from the United Nations. They will have a set of clear goals to follow, and they will also have some blank spaces where in their teams, they will set their own targets too. So giving them guidance, modeling the way, but allowing them to have autonomy, independence, agency, and choice, all the things that empower our students going forward. So over the 10 weeks, just to give you a quick overview of what it will look like. Week number 1, you'll learn about the history. What did it look like? What does it look like? How did the people live and how are they living now?
What's new event?
Week number 3, we'll talk about the weather and the climate. Quite often there's a mixture between that. Children don't understand the difference between weather and climate. They're completely different. And children often think, I can't affect the weather and I can't affect the climate. Well, you can. You actually can have an influence of how the weather operates and how the climate is changing. So we'll empower them to do that locally, and then that will have a national and international impact, of course. We'll look at glaciers. Now, you might think to yourself, glaciers, aren't they only in the Arctic? No, there's 400,000 glaciers around the world. There's even glaciers in Africa. So children will research glaciers, what they do, how they impact life, and then we'll have a look at what it would look like in their own continent without a glacier. Like, what would happen if there wasn't one here? Well, if you live in the Himalayas, if you're living in Ladakh in India, then you are only alive because of glaciers. Because when they melt, the rivers fill, and they irrigate your land, they water your crops, and you can drink water. No glaciers, no you. This is the reality. Now, we're not going to go down the doom and gloom. What we do want to do is show them the importance of these things so they can take action and understand that. Then we'll go into sea ice, and this is where we get into biomes and start understanding the importance of sea ice. Just to let the people here know today, you might see sea ice, and all I've done for the last month is read about the Arctic, and I'm absolutely finding it so fascinating, and your children will too. You see a bit of floating sea ice, you think, oh, it's just a bit of sea ice. Well, actually, think again. Underneath the sea ice, it's quite dark and gloomy, and phytoplankton live underneath. What eats the phytoplankton? Krill. What eats the krill? Penguins. What eats the penguins? Leopard seals. What eats the leopard seals? Well, it goes on and on and on, and it ends with you. It ends with you guys. So quite often we talk about bees. Oh, if all the bees go, no humans. If the ice goes, no humans. Fact. And this is all about the connection and the impact and making a change and making a difference. But we want to stress the importance, because quite often our students will look at that and go, sea ice? Why should I care about sea ice? That's not in the Arctic or the Antarctic. Why would I care about that? It's so far away from me. It's far away, but the knock-on effect is right on your doorstep. And this is their future that's in jeopardy, and we need to empower them to reach out to the people around them and make a difference. Okay, then we'll go into the big white bears, which is very cool. This is like the most amazing week of all time. In fact, I'm finding it hard to make this a 1 week learning sequence, because these creatures are incredible indeed, weighing 700 kilograms. They're not actually white, they're black. Their fur is just translucent fiber optics that absorbs heat to be able to keep them warm. It's incredible, and you just get into this and you can't get out of it. But our children will find this thrilling, because we are guaranteed, I've been told, to see a polar bear. And me and Richard will be wrestling a polar bear live. No, we won't wrestling, no. We'll be teaching, and a polar bear will be nearby, no wrestling. That's just a joke. Then we'll go into the polar lights. We'll look at Aurora Borealis, and we'll be teaching about this. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing it because it will never get dark. But this is a chance for our children to think beyond Earth, which is pretty cool. We start to think about, we are protected by nature, but nature goes beyond Earth. We have the magnetosphere, and the magnetosphere protects us from solar flares and positive and negative solar ions. And that's why this happens here. So you're actually under the nature is protecting you in a multitude of ways, not just by giving you, food and oxygen and water, but actually, if there was no magnetosphere, you'd literally be frazzled. So, having this concept and saying to the children, hey, it's bigger than you think. Let's go into the universe and have a look what happens in our solar system will be amazing, because in our schools, what happens is the children learn the planets and go, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Oh, that's great. We know that. No, that's not enough. You've got to think bigger than that. Like, what are they doing? What's Jupiter doing for our galaxy, our solar system? What's actually happening? So we'll go into that. Then we'll look at the Arctic birds, and the children will take on a research project and study a bird in general. And then they will research a local bird, one in their local habitat, one in their local country. And they will say, what would happen in my local area if that bird didn't exist? If that bird was not here, what would it actually look like in terms of my local habitat, bringing it home to them? Then we'll put the food web all together, and we'll kind of bring all of this together in the final week and wrap it all up, where they'll make all these amazing connections to say, oh my goodness, I've actually now just realized if I turn the light off for 1 hour a day and eat vegetables on a Tuesday and Thursday, then potentially the great blue whale will still be around in 1,000 years. And that's the whole point. They will understand everything will be connected, and they'll realize the importance of their actions. Week 10, we'll go into the resources and how, there's a big drive for that. And they'll go into another way of living. What can we do? How can we live differently, which doesn't rely on coal, gas, oil? How can the children empower their community to think differently and change the way that they live? And then finally, they'll make a plan. This is how we're going to go forward from now on. And that will take us into the summer holidays. And hopefully they can carry that over Christmas and over that period. And that will take them into the new year as a new community with new way of living and all of that. And I'll finish by reading this quote to you. Once children discover their capacity to shape the way in which the world works, the dormant confidence within is brought to life. And thus, the child realizes there is nothing too big for them to take on. At this point, education is truly working to cultivate the leaders of tomorrow, a tomorrow we are yet to understand. And I think that summarizes what this entire course is about, and also what all of us at Upschool are about in general. This is what we're here for, I truly believe. So there's my 1 hour of telling you what's coming up. And I guess over to you. Magar, any questions? I like those pictures by you, by the way, Magar, behind you. They're very beautiful.
These are drawings by the students. I'm in my school right now.
So do we have any questions from anyone about anything, the courses, what's coming up, how to get involved?
Yeah, sure. I mean, basically, I joined like towards the later half of the session, and I would be happy to access the recording. I somehow missed joining on time. But yeah, I get it. Like it's basically on real world learning, and students will be able to participate. However, some more information would be useful. If I get recording, I'll be able to understand. So I just have one question. Are the students like, is it for the full school, or we divide them in cohorts, or yeah, that's one question that I have.
Yeah, so what will happen is that the teacher, I don't know if you've been on the website yet and had a look at how it's all laid out, but every single lesson or learning sequence, we have an introductory, I do an introduction like, hello kids, it's Gavin here. Welcome to this week's lesson on great blue whales. And the kids are like, oh, it's Gavin again. And I'm there every lesson for continuity. So they know it's me and, blah, 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 but not to change it up. And then there's a series of things that they will then do. And the teacher can guide all of that. So what we're finding right now around the world is that teachers are teaching it from the front of their class. All the kids are sitting in the classroom. The teacher's saying, hello, everybody. It's time for Upschool. It's Thursday at 12 o'clock. And they click play, and I'm like, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's lesson on blue whales. Then they do the work. They follow through all the actions. And then there's a closing video with me with some follow-up work to do for that week, kind of like some extension activities. But the age range is from about 8 onwards. So you're looking at 8 onwards. So 8 up to anywhere else is totally applicable. But what we build into this is a mentorship leadership aspect, so that anybody younger than 8, the idea is that there's an extension activity every single week. So let's say, for example, you've got a 10-year-old who comes along to a lesson on blue whales. At the end of that, I produce a lesson plan. It's all built into the platform, and you can have a look later on. There's a lesson plan, but the lesson plan is a child-friendly lesson plan. It's in the language of a 10-year-old, and it tells them what they need to teach, and it shows them what they need to say. They download it. They go down to a 6-year-old in another class, and they say, hello, Tommy. I'm going to teach you about blue whales now. And they pay it forward, building up mentorship, leadership, responsibility, communication, independence, confidence, blah, 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 all those things. That's the idea. And it's all in there, written for you. There's a teaching program. There's a video for teachers, a video for parents, a video for students. There's everything for everyone is built into every single learning sequence. So that's the way it rolls out. And what you find is the entire school take on the project, but you have little groups breaking off, little cohorts, might have a pair over here, a group of 10 over there, some child working on their own over here, and that's fine. I think it's important to let them run it as they want to.
That's amazing. I think I'm super excited for this program, and I'm sure I'm so looking forward to getting started with it.
Amazing. Now, Magar, how many children do you have at your school?
We're a small school. We are located in a remote place. It's called Pimplegaon. It's a little away from the main city, Nasik, and we have around 350 students as of now. Yeah.
Right. So, but your small school is a very big school over here in Australia. Your tiny school. Oh, it's very small. I only have 300.
From Indians' perspective, like in India, if you talk about the context of India, yes, we call it a small school because we have less number of students.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a school, and last year we started some different projects because we are a CBSE school, and we have a new education policy that has come up, and it's all talking about critical thinking, leadership. So we already started with Sustainable Development Goals project in grade 9, and it went really well. It was more like a facilitation, and where students took up challenges, took up SDG on their own, and they worked throughout the year on their own in groups. So that went really
Amazing.
well. So we did this in grade 9 in online mode when schools were online, and we thought that we should take this to the whole school. And then I realized about your program, so we thought that we'll get a structure, and I mean I would be happy to have my entire school participate in SDGs. So that's why it's just, I find it a great connect.
Amazing. Okay, amazing. Now I know you missed the beginning of the meeting, but I will say this to you. I will say this to a few. I know that Kamal comes every week. Every week we have a live lesson that assists along with the learning. So it works alongside the learning. I know that Magar, you've also been to that as well. So what I would say to you is that you missed the beginning of this conference, but our next course rolls out on the 19th of July. Now I know that Indian schools go back on the 6th of July. Is that right? 6th of July?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
My school
so Indian schools go back 6th of July. So 10 days later also, our next course is rolling out. It's called Be the Change. I highly recommend that you go and register for that. I think you already have, Magar. I've seen your name.
I have. Yes, I have already registered for all, and I've rather attended your live workshops as well. We forwarded the link to our students, but they were at home. But now our school is starting from tomorrow, actually. So it varies. Like in North India, it starts in July, but in Maharashtra, the West India, start in June.
Okay.
So my school is starting tomorrow. I'm excited. And actually, we do a live, we play a live class within, in the classroom. Our classes attend the live session with you.
Yeah, beautiful.
We have a TV in every classroom, so that will be very possible.
Yeah, well, we have a live session tomorrow. So Kamal, what I would say to you, I would say tomorrow, please bring your community onto that live lesson if you can. This one is on writing an article, and I deliver those too. But as we grow, we in reality, we've only been really live for 6.5 weeks. We had a pilot for 10 weeks, and then we went live 6.5 weeks ago. We've got, 1,000 teachers in 110 countries who are delivering this which is amazing, to be honest with you. But as we grow, we'll increase the capacity of how many people are delivering live lessons or all of these things. But what I would say is that, yes, please come tomorrow. That would be amazing. Kamal, please bring your children tomorrow. That would be a really good one. And we'll have these alongside that every single week as well.
Yes, you'll see our classes tomorrow.
Amazing. Please come. Yes, 2 o'clock. So I think your time it's 9:30. Your time 9:30.
9:30 a.m. Yes, 9:30.
Yeah, wow, look at me with international time zones. I'm getting so good at this. Right, and Marquita, did you have anything?
Yeah, sorry. I was saying we've attended your last 2 sessions on comprehension skill and the story writing, and they were pretty amazing. So I personally attended to understand how relevant it is for the children. But so now tomorrow I plan to take it to the whole classroom.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Gavin, in fact, I would also like to appreciate all the workshops which you have been conducting, be it on comprehension, be it on story writing skills. They all have been amazing. And we are looking forward to the July session. Right now, as you know, we are closed for the summer break. Everybody's traveling, due to COVID, we couldn't travel. Anyhow, and now is the chance, so everybody's traveling. Still, I would ensure that there is participation, and I would request if you can share the link for tomorrow's workshop, as well as a little write-up for the July program which we plan to have.
No problem. We'll put that in the chat right now. Jake's in control of the chat, so he'll throw it in the chat because I can't do that. He's the chat master, and then you can grab it out of there very quickly. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. That's completely fine. What I would say to you before Marquita talks is that we've been very fortunate in that Canva are an $85 billion company, huge. We managed to have a meeting with them, and we told them what we were doing. Canva normally charge just under $20 per month to access their pro account. They've given us free accounts for all of our students, including your teachers, including your parents. I honestly strongly suggest this because we have a cap on how many we can give away. Magar, Kamal, Marquita, send it out. Send that link out to as many people as you can, because when that reaches capacity, we might not have a chance to fill that in. And that is a service which, Richard and Jake and I, Anusha, Ashesh, all the people here, if we didn't have Canva, I honestly don't know what we would do. I really don't. And so for our students to have access to it is unbelievable. And not having to pay is another thing. And just to fill you in very quickly, what normally happens with Canva is they request you to prove you are from a legitimate educational organization. And for a school in India, that's going to be very tricky because they want to have your regulation, all of these documentation that maybe doesn't apply to where you are. And so it's very hard to get free access. They've said to us, look, you guys are doing an amazing job. We believe in you. If they're a customer of yours, give them free access. And that's unbelievable. So I would say you've got 300 kids, you've got 2,000 kids, you get them all a free account, because you can never look a gift horse like this in the mouth. You know, the old saying, you know, if you get something like this for free, you just take it. And I definitely would. It's like when you go on an aeroplane and they say it's free food. I just eat as much food as I can because it's free. I would do exactly the same right now when it comes to Canva accounts. So don't feel hesitant to share it out. I know, Marquita, you're on a huge parenting network who are doing homeschooling. You know, imagine a homeschool parent who wants to go on Canva, like just send them a link and say, fill it in, and you can have a free account. It's unbelievable. Anyway, sorry, Marquita, you've come off of mute so many times and you haven't had a chance to speak. I apologize.
No, all good. I just wanted to ask as well, with the theChange, is it better with the homeschoolers to get together to do it, or shall we do it individually? Because I'm part of two groups. One is very huge and one is small. So I don't know if it's better for us to try to do it together, or what shall I do with the homeschoolers?
From a principal and a teacher's point of view, you know, there's homeschooling is obviously fine and great, but what it misses sometimes is that collaboration, communication, negotiation, compromise, teamwork, all those wonderful words. And, you know, there's a lot of skills that will take place in Be the Change that if you've got a group, then those things will happen. So I suggest that if you can get together in a group, it would be amazing. I mean, even if you had a large group and they splintered off, you know, you might have 20 kids and 5 of them say, I want to do climate change, I want to do, you know, gender equality, I want to do life on land, and off they go into their little groups, and that's completely fine. In fact, that is how it's designed. So I would recommend definitely getting into a group for sure.
Yeah, okay, I will try to suggest it to them. The smaller one is more flexible. We do group stuff, so I think that would work. But with the large one, I'm just not sure. It's just way too big. We have about over 50, 60 kids there.
Yeah, so right. Okay.
It's quite.
But I mean, they can all get into their smaller groups as well. You know, I would definitely send it to them, because I think the good thing about it is, from a homeschooling point of view, is I've written a curriculum which is in line with the Australian curriculum. So you just print it, and every week you get a lesson plan, and like, you know full well that you're doing the right thing by your child without having to go, oh, is this in line with the curriculum? I'm not sure. Well, it is, because I've made sure of that.
And I just would like to ask you, and as well, I missed when the Antarctica starting. When is that one, the project starting?
The Arctic starts on October the 10th. If you jump on the website, you will see there's a drop-down menu for it, and you can register your interest. And then you'll be added to our database, and we'll keep you in cahoots. But what's very cool about that is, from the 27th of this month onwards, we'll be running an online blog, and we'll be giving live updates on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, about what we did. So if you want to bring your son and say, let's go and have a look what's been happening today, then you'll see Richard being eaten by a polar bear, and oh my goodness, that's gruesome. Don't look. But you know, it will be really exciting. We want to take it on a journey. And this week we actually have a press release going out on Thursday, and you know, there'll be hopefully some news coming along to follow the journey and getting kids really enthusiastic and excited about it, because it's going to be thrilling.
No, they are both amazing. I want to get the homeschool community on. So I would be really appreciated if you don't mind to write me something which I can just put on their post there, so I can pick them up to do, everyone to do this, because it's great.
I've got you on my list. Yes, I've got you on my list of people to write to this afternoon. So I'll send you a little brief this afternoon. You flick it out to your community, and that will be unbelievable. I really appreciate that.
Yes, yeah, I will, because this is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the book as well. You're on Learning Sequence 5, aren't you now?
Yeah. We are both working on it. We are just a little bit behind, because
no.
My son is 7 and he just keep making it very complicated and changing it, and we are just in a very
take it at your own pace. Not a problem whatsoever. No. Yeah, we appreciate you. Okay, anything else that you'd like to say, Magar, Kamal, anything else? No? Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you so much for this.
Sorry?
I was just trying to thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm sure, I mean, it's a great opportunity for students to connect with the global community and do something beyond their textbooks. So this is something amazing. Thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure. And we've got Donya. Donya's got her hand up.
Hi. I have been driving for the whole week, for the whole meeting, but now I arrived, I can share. First of all, thank you so much. It's great. Everything that you said is great. I just can't say anything more. I was going to ask about homeschooling because I'm not in teaching. I'm not a teacher anymore. In coaching, so I have a very good network of parents who do homeschooling and school normal school. So I was going to ask if it's okay if, for individuals to join in individual pages like for parents, but you already talked about that. So I'm done. I'm just going to I just want to say that I will share it to a few thousand of parents. I hope it helps you work, and this is all what I can do now for this short notice. And that's it. That's all what I wanted to say.
Thank you. What I will do, I'll send everyone in this meeting an email after this, just giving you a brief, and you can share that with in your networks, whoever you want to do, and we appreciate that. You know, all that we actually want out of this is for lots and lots of children to come and access this learning. That's our actual ultimate goal. So if you can help us for that to happen, for example, Magar, Kamal, you've got schools in your local district, and you want to share this with them and say, hey, by the way, have you checked this out? You should definitely come and enroll here, because that, you know, me and Richard and Jake and Ashesh and Richard, the team here that work on all of this wonderful stuff, you know, all that we want is for the maximum amount of children to come and enjoy this. And so if you can help that happen, then we feel extremely grateful and happy. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Oh, Alison Tedesco. Yes. Sure. Hello. Alison, you're on mute.
Can I have one more question, please?
Sorry, Alison, you're muted.
Sorry, can I have one more?
Yep, just while Alison's connecting, of course you can, please. I think Alison's frozen.
If I contacted any of my local schools and they want to contact you,
Alison, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? You can't do it. Jake, can you unmute her, please? She can't unmute herself.
It looks like your microphone's on, actually, Alison. You want to try speaking? Yeah, for some reason it's not working, no, unfortunately. I'll try and mute everyone else in case there's some sort of reason.
Oh, no. Can you do it using charades, like you know, 3 words, starts with, sounds like, no.
You're welcome to put it in the chat if you'd like, yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Write it in the chat.
Yep, the chat's open.
Gavin, 1 minute, may I? I have just wanted to check the age group for the upcoming workshops.
Tomorrow?
8+. 8+. And the later one, the 6th July one.
She's also frozen. Sorry, what did you say, Kamal?
Yep. I said the latter one as well for 8 years plus, right?
The one tomorrow, the writing an article.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Alison, is it in the chat? I think it might be now. Yes, it is. Just had a question about timing, please. We are doing write a book and have to push across the next term. That's completely fine, of course. Take as long as you like. What you'll probably find is it's now week 6. We're just releasing week 7, so releasing week 8 this week. Is that this part where the children are illustrating their book? You know, it could take them 5, could take them 10 weeks. You know, you have no idea because they might want to put so much detail and time into it. And that's not a problem whatsoever. But I think the important thing is, Alison, there, and I've done this before with my school, is to just give them time and say it's no rush. Don't rush it. Don't worry if you finish midterm 3. That's completely fine. That's complete. It's designed in that way for sure. Yeah, and you can just pick it up where you want to and let it go. Alison, how many children do you have? Are you in Thornbury? No. Okay. How many children do you have doing the write a book? You're in Pymble. Are you at Pymble Ladies College, PLC? Yes, I've seen you online a lot. Yes, amazing. Okay, wonderful. Yes, but it would be very cool. I know you're deputy. Oh, it's you actually. No, it's you. You're the deputy, aren't you? Yes, Alison. Yeah. So for Be the Change, it would be awesome. I have a lot of respect for Pymble Ladies College. One of my old friends used to work there. Would be awesome if we could get your whole school doing Be the Change in term 3. Oh, please, thumbs up, sounds good. Yes, thank you so much. We've also got two of my favorite schools, Pymble Ladies College and Lingfield Learning Village. They're both coming on for term 3, which is great. Thank you. And Alison, if you have any sphere of influence, if you have any friends or teachers or other people, please send it out, and that will be much appreciated from our point of view. Okay, everybody, thank you for everything. Thank you for your time. It's been nice and intimate meeting with some select few people. If you need anything, you just jump on the site. There's a chat bot. Much to my demise, I put the chat bot on to try to help people, but I can't ever get away from it, which is totally fine. Anyway, all good. Just jump on there if you need any help, and I'll be happy to respond and stuff. So, okay, thank you, everybody. Hopefully see you tomorrow for the live lesson in Australia, happening at 2 o'clock, 9:30 Delhi, and 8 a.m. in the UAE. So, all good. All right, thank you, everyone. See you soon. See you later.
It's Richard Mills from Upschool here. For more amazing free lessons like this one, create a free account at upschool.co, and we can't wait to see you on our platform.